Have you ever found yourself walking on eggshells around someone you care about, holding your breath before you speak, second-guessing your every word, apologizing, even when you don't know what you did wrong? Maybe you've been told that you're too sensitive, too dramatic, or that everything is your fault. And yet, you stay. Why? Because they weren't always like this. Because there are good moments, and you cling to them. Because you remember how it felt at the beginning, when they made you feel like the most important person in the world. But now it feels like you're losing yourself. Toxic relationships don't always scream. Sometimes they whisper lies so quietly, you don't notice how they're rewriting your sense of reality, until you wake up one day, wondering, who even am I anymore? This video is not just about manipulation or red flags. It's about the invisible threads that keep people stuck in painful cycles, and the silent war between your instincts and your hope. Let's go beneath the surface. Let's explore the psychology of toxic relationships and how to finally reclaim your power. Toxic relationships don't always look toxic at first. They can start with passion, with connection, with the kind of intensity that makes you feel like you've finally found your person. But over time, things shift. You begin to notice the criticism, the control, the cold silences that follow even the smallest disagreements. And worst of all, you start to question if maybe you're the problem. So what exactly is a toxic relationship? At its core, a toxic relationship is any connection that consistently makes you feel worse, not better, where one person, or sometimes both, relate in ways that are damaging, manipulative, or emotionally unsafe. It's not just about arguments. Every relationship has conflict. It's about patterns of behavior that chip away at your self-worth and emotional stability. And here's the dangerous part. These patterns don't usually explode all at once. They creep in gradually. A hurtful comment disguised as a joke, a boundary crossed, then ignored, an apology that never comes, or worse, an apology that's followed by more of the same behavior. Over time, this creates an invisible cage, and recognizing it is the first step toward reclaiming your sense of self. Toxic relationships aren't always loud. Sometimes, the most damaging behaviors hide in plain sight, disguised as care, disguised as love, disguised as normal. Let's break down the most common toxic patterns, not just what they are, but how they feel when you're stuck inside them. 1. Gaslighting. That never happened. You're being dramatic. Gaslighting is when someone manipulates you into doubting your own reality. You remember what was said. They deny it. You express how you feel. They tell you it's wrong. Over time, you begin to wonder if you're the problem. You start apologizing for things you didn't do. You stop trusting your own memory, your own instincts, your own voice. 2. Love bombing. Followed by withdrawal. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Then silence. At first, they overwhelm you with attention, praise, and affection. It feels magical, intense, like a fairy tale. This is called love bombing. And it's not love, it's control disguised as passion. Because soon after comes the crash. They pull away. They ignore you. They act cold or distant, and you don't know why. You end up chasing that initial high, believing you did something wrong. That cycle of idealization and rejection, it creates emotional dependency. 3. Control disguised as protection. I'm just looking out for you. They tell you who to talk to, what to wear, what to post. They get angry when you set boundaries, or when you act too independent. They don't call it control. They call it love. But real love doesn't come with a leash. 4. Silent treatment. No words, no warmth, just ice. When something upsets them, they shut down. They don't talk it out. They punish with silence. This isn't just about space. It's about power. You're left in emotional limbo, begging for clarity, for forgiveness, for connection. The silent treatment says, you don't matter enough to be acknowledged. It's emotional starvation, and it works. 5. Passive aggression. Fine, whatever. Do what you want. They won't say they're angry, but you feel it. In their tone, their sarcasm. The sudden mood shifts. Instead of expressing emotions honestly, they express them in ways that confuse and wound you. This keeps you constantly guessing, overanalyzing, and blaming yourself. 6. Keeping score. Remember what you did 3 months ago. Every mistake you've made is kept on record, brought up again and again to justify their behavior or guilt trip you into compliance. In a toxic relationship, forgiveness is rare, and nothing is ever truly resolved. These patterns create what psychologists call a cycle of abuse, a repeating loop of harm, apology, and hope. But naming these patterns, seeing them clearly, is the beginning of freedom. Because once you can see the pattern, you no longer have to live inside it. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. It's one of the most common and most misunderstood questions. If it's so toxic, why don't they just leave? From the outside, it seems simple. If someone is mistreating you, you walk away. But toxic relationships don't operate on logic. They operate on emotional wiring. And the truth is, there are powerful psychological reasons why people stay. 1. Intermittent reinforcement, the addiction cycle. Imagine a slot machine. You pull the lever over and over, not because it rewards you every time, but because sometimes it does. Toxic relationships work the same way. A moment of kindness, a sudden apology, a rare compliment. These unpredictable bursts of affection keep you hooked, hoping, chasing, waiting for that high again. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the most addictive reward system the brain knows. It's not just emotional, it's chemical. Dopamine, cortisol, adrenaline, a neurochemical roller coaster. 2. Erosion of self-worth. The longer you stay, the more your sense of self begins to erode. You start to internalize the blame. You question your own perception. You believe, maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I'm hard to love. Maybe this is the best I can get. This is emotional conditioning. It's not weakness. It's the result of constant manipulation. 3. Fear of abandonment and loneliness. Letting go of a toxic person doesn't just mean leaving them. It means facing the silence that follows. The grief, the fear of being alone, maybe forever. To the brain, especially if you have past trauma or attachment wounds, that silence can feel more unbearable than the pain of staying. 4. Trauma bonding. Perhaps the most haunting reason of all. This happens when abuse and affection are tangled together, when the same person who hurts you is also the one who comforts you. You don't know where pain ends and love begins. You feel bound to them, not in spite of the harm, but because of it. It's confusing, it's intense, and it creates a loop that feels impossible to escape. 5. Hope. The most human reason people stay. Hope that things will get better. Hope that the person they fell in love with will come back. Hope that if they just love a little harder, sacrifice a little more, everything will finally be okay. But hope, in a toxic relationship, can become a trap. Because love isn't supposed to feel like survival. People don't stay because they're weak. They stay because they've been taught or conditioned to believe that this pain is normal, or that it's the price they have to pay for love. But it isn't. So now you see the patterns, you recognize the pain, but one question still echoes in your mind. How do I leave? And how do I heal? Escaping a toxic relationship, whether it's romantic, platonic, or even familial, isn't just a decision. It's a transformation, a gradual, sometimes painful, often liberating journey back to yourself. 1. Acknowledge the truth. This is not love. This is survival. The first and most courageous step is admitting what it is. No more justifying. No more, maybe it's just a phase. No more, everyone has issues. You can't heal from what you refuse to name. Say it clearly. This relationship is toxic. It is hurting me, and I deserve better. That honesty may hurt, but it's the beginning of your freedom. 2. Break the illusion of hope. They're not who I fell in love with anymore, or maybe they never were. Toxic relationships keep you trapped by dangling the possibility of change. But change doesn't come through begging, sacrificing, or waiting. If someone truly wants to change, they'll do it without manipulation, denial, or delay. Let go of the fantasy. It's not your job to save them. Your only responsibility is to save yourself. 3. Set boundaries and keep them. No is a complete sentence. Boundaries are not about punishing the other person. They're about protecting your peace. That might mean limiting contact, blocking, unfollowing, saying, I won't tolerate this anymore, and meaning it. And yes, they might react badly. They might guilt you, lash out, or pretend to change. But that's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's proof that your boundary matters. 4. Rebuild your inner world. Who was I before they told me who to be? When you've been in a toxic relationship, your identity can feel blurred. You forget what you love, what you need, what peace even feels like. Now is the time to reconnect. Slowly, gently. Journal. Spend time alone. Reclaim old hobbies. Talk to safe, supportive people. Go to therapy, if you can, and let someone walk beside you as you heal. This isn't about moving on overnight. It's about rebuilding your nervous system, retraining your mind to recognize safety, and learning day by day that love doesn't have to hurt. 5. Forgive yourself. You stayed because you were trying to survive. Let go of the shame. You stayed because you loved, because you hoped, because part of you didn't know better or didn't feel strong enough to leave. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. And the fact that you're here, learning, growing, trying, that makes you powerful. Breaking free from a toxic relationship is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of self-respect, the beginning of real healing, the beginning of learning how to love yourself in the way no one else ever taught you. You don't need their apology to move forward. You don't need their validation to reclaim your life. You only need one thing, the belief that peace, freedom, and healthy love are not just possible. They're yours to claim. If you saw yourself in the patterns, then this message is for you. You are not broken. You are not weak. And you are not alone. Toxic relationships have a way of convincing you that you're the problem, that if you were just better, quieter, prettier, stronger, more patient, then things would finally be okay. But here's the truth. You were never the problem. You were just trapped in a cycle designed to make you forget your own worth. The fact that you're still here, listening, reflecting, learning, is proof of your resilience. Your intuition never left you. It's been whispering to you all along. Now, it's time to start listening. And if no one has told you this yet today, let me say it now. You deserve love that feels safe. You deserve to be heard and seen. You deserve to be free. Subscribe to this channel for more on healing, psychology, and rebuilding your sense of self. Leave a comment if this spoke to you. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.